This video picks up where our last one left off, with the Dirty Bunch Jeep Club making our way through the Blackwater River State Forest as we explore the west end of the newly opened Florida Adventure Trail. We've had a great time so far, even though we did get shot at in our last video. If you haven't seen that video, you can find a link for it in the description for this video. So far the trails have been great, and one thing that we've noticed is that they do not appear to have had a whole lot of recent traffic. Despite this, we saw a lot of litter just laying around. Now don't worry, we didn't just leave it, we picked it up. And that brings us to one of the things that we wanted to point out, the Florida Adventure Trail 2-Bag Challenge. The folks at the Florida Adventure Trail have put out a challenge to everyone who explores these trails to bring 2 trash bags along with them. 1 bag for their own trash, and 1 bag for the trash that you find along the way. The idea is that we want to leave these trails in better shape than what we find them.
Bulldozer.
There he goes. Thank you, Dave.
There you go. I'll catch up. Go.
In about 3 hours. Just keep driving without him. Serious. Ridiculous. This is your home now.
Yep.
This is where you live.
Yep.
All right. Welcome
There's
home.
always one.
Yeah, yeah.
I hope that was good as it smelled.
Oh, there's probably more than just that. Saving your rig. That's why.
That's why.
It took us more than 5 hours to get through the rest of the Blackwater River State Forest section and back down to I-10. From there, it's only a few minutes south until you reach the west entrance of Eglin, and it's literally a dirt road turnoff from the main road. Now, we expected gates and maybe even guards, but it was wide open and we just drove right in. Now, this is the point where we have to be completely honest and share with you one of the biggest mistakes, probably the biggest mistake that we made on this trip. We did not do enough research about the requirements for Eglin. We saw online that you didn't need a pass to do the Florida Adventure Trail portion that passes through Eglin, and oh boy, is that not true. If you're going to take the portion of the Florida Adventure Trail that passes through Eglin, each person 16 or older must have a pass. Now, this is entirely our fault. After we got home, we were looking through some of the materials that we got when we purchased our Florida Adventure Trail map, and right there in those materials, it clearly tells us that we needed to have a permit. We had mistakenly thought that we only needed a permit if we were fishing or hunting or camping. But no, you need the pass for every person 16 or older who enters the base. Fortunately for us, we did not get stopped, because if we had, we could have found ourselves in a world of hurt. Now, before you think that maybe you should just bypass the Eglin portion of the trail, let me just say, doing that would be a mistake. There are tons of great trails in this area and some really cool things to check out, like this vintage Huey that we found. Check out all of the great waypoints on your map and then plan to spend at least half a day in this section. But before you enter the base, read through Eglin's requirements. And there are 64 pages of requirements, so be prepared to spend a little time. Having been through this process now, we have a few tips for those of you who plan to visit Eglin and see that portion of the Florida Adventure Trail. Tip number 1, get a pass. Pay attention to the directions that have been given by the good folks at the Florida Adventure Trail and purchase a day pass. It's only $5 and can save you from a world of hurt. Number 2, don't skip the Eglin portion of the trail. There are tons of trails to explore and a lot of really cool things to see. 3, scout out your waypoints in advance. There are very interesting waypoints here, including airplanes and tanks and helicopters. These are especially cool if you're traveling with kids. 4, get the base map from Avenza. The Florida Adventure Trail map is a great map, but if you have Avenza, you can also get the map that the base has issued, and it has some really good detail and is worth having. You can search for it in the Avenza app using the keywords FY23 Eglin AFB Outdoor Recreation Hunting and Fishing Map. Number 5, there is a speed limit. Although we didn't see a single sign, there are speed limits of 45 miles per hour on paved roads and 35 miles per hour on unpaved roads. And number 6, alcohol and drug possession and/or consumption is not allowed, even for those of you with medical marijuana permits. We loved the Eglin portion of the trail, but once again we found ourselves without daylight. We hadn't gotten as far as we had wanted, and we still had about 2 hours until we would reach the place we had planned to camp. So we decided to leave the Florida Adventure Trail, get on I-10, and cut that 2-hour drive down to 1 hour. But once we got on the highway, that is when disaster struck. Join us next time as we find ourselves face to face with a life-threatening highway incident that we will never forget.